The Andy Caldwell Show is sponsored in part by CoLab, the Coalition of Labor, Agriculture, and Business.
Intelligent, informative, and interesting, with something new each and every day. You are listening to The Andy Caldwell Show.
I'd like to welcome you back to the show. Political correctness is attempting to destroy the 23-year career of veteran professor of philosophy at Santa Barbara City College. Hopefully the truth will prevail. Mark McIntyre is our guest. Mark, my question is you mentioned going through the administrative remedies, perhaps suing. Is there a chance you get your job back and future college students have the chance of hearing at least one professor giving them something else other than the progressive pablum that passes for higher education, or is it just for damages?
Well, at this particular point in time, I have certainly come to the conclusion that there is no way in hell that I am ever going to be teaching at Santa Barbara City College. And the principal reason is because my new department chairman, Mark Bobrow, he opens his final evaluation of me with this, believe it or not, this is the opening sentence. I'm just going to read it very slowly. It is with a heavy heart that I recommend that Mark McIntyre no longer teach philosophy at Santa Barbara City College. Now, that's the first sentence, okay? So what does that tell you? I mean, he
should have been a drama coach.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm not going to even have a comment on that, but that's a funny one. I like that. So in other words, we're up against a systemic circling of the wagons, okay? The dean circled her wagons around Dr. Bobrow. Now the executive vice president, who's new on the job, I'll be meeting with her soon. I expect her to circle the wagons. I expect all the administration to circle the wagons. I expect the board of trustees, because they are the source. They're the core of all of these problems and shifting towards social justice warriorship. I expect them to validate Dr. Bobrow and the deans and everybody else in the chain of command, and then I can go to court. Because I cannot get a just hearing here. No, impossible.
Well, and the bottom line here is that this is happening all over America. This issue of this vacuum of two sides to every story. My favorite professor, Mark, in college was this Professor Armin Rappaport. I took a couple classes from him. He had been a history professor at Berkeley. He was tenured there, retired, and then came and did another stint at UC San Diego. Mm-hmm. And this guy thoroughly confounded me and everybody else in this class by presenting two equally compelling narratives from events in history that we had heretofore only heard one side of it.
Yep.
So after we'd hear the lecture, we were thoroughly confused as to what actually really did happen. And more importantly, why haven't we ever heard these things before?
Right. Yeah. Well, I successfully debated one of our prominent science professors. I debated that professor on climate change. And naturally, I took a skeptical view of the current political offering of climate change, the anthropogenic climate change model. And by the way, students came up to me afterwards and they said, "You know what? I came in here expecting you to be wiped out by this science professor, but you know what? You actually presented another side. We have never heard of this. We have never heard of these arguments. We have never heard of these facts and these statistics, and we have never read any of the scientists who actually criticize climate change."
Yep.
I also debated Professor Joe White on does God exist? And everybody was, the room was chock full. It's still talked about, by the way. This particular debate was still talked about. And the whole room was filled, waiting for me to get demolished by this icon, atheist of Professor Joe White. And you know what happened? Afterwards, students lingered around, came up to me and said, "You know what? You've at least proven to me that belief in God is not unreasonable, that there is a reasonable way to believe in a God. You didn't prove that God exists, but you didn't try to." And that's the thing that I've been striving for with the colloquium and with my teaching, a diversity of ideas, which is the very core of any college or university. We don't have that anymore at Santa Barbara City College. All we have is liberal, progressive, social justice warrior boot camps.
And what about former students? Have any of them come forward and said this is just wrong?
Well, I've opened up a legal defense fund on GoFundMe, and I got to tell you, in 30 days, I've raised over $7,600 in 30 days. And many of those people are not only students from me here at Santa Barbara City College, former faculty at City College, former trustees of the City College, but they also go back to all the other institutions where I've taught, going all the way back to 40 or 50 years ago at Westfield State College, now a university in Salem, Massachusetts. And they have kept track of this whole.
Well, if all else fails, you could become the National Rifle Association representative on the campus.
Oh, by the way, my department chairman specifically mentioned that I cannot assign any topic on gun control. He wrote that down on a piece of paper. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Now, how in the heck did that idiot get his job?
What?
How did that guy get his job?
Well, he was hired by Joe White.
You know what? You probably embarrassed Dwight, and you figured, hey, I got to get rid of this guy. He's ruining my reputation.
Well, Joe is retired now. Joe is retired.
All right.
And Mark Grover is running the philosophy department. But what's amazing to me is that in 108 days, I have suddenly lost the ability to understand basic philosophical concepts. Either I should get an Academy Award for being the biggest fraud and fake and phony on Santa Barbara City College faculty, or somebody has been incompetent along the way.
Well, you are a computer geek. Have you thought of hacking in to see what they're really saying behind the scenes?
That's why I've got a team of lawyers ready to comb through all the discoverable emails and documents that they have been assembling to get rid of Mark McIntyre, and also to get rid of other faculty members. There's another member of the philosophy department whose case has reached the Board of Trustees. He also is an older senior faculty member, and most recently the Board of Trustees had to write a large check because they violated the age discrimination of a former art professor in the art department. That was in 2013, and that case just settled in 2017. So their batting average is really, really bad at court, and that's why they want to tie me up in these internal investigations and internal proceedings.
Well, of course, the other thing, besides wanting to get rid of conservatives, they want to get rid of white males. So you've got 3 strikes against you.
Yeah, and I'm old. I'm 73 years old. So if they get rid of me, there's an intrinsic. This has been proven in Santa Barbara Superior Court that there is, in effect, a de facto fire old and hire young. And the reason is, if you fire an older faculty member, even if they're adjunct, they're at the top of the merit pay scale. And if you hire somebody who's young, they have to start at the bottom. So, for instance, I get about $1,000 a month when I was teaching, and that's the top of the pay scale for one class. If I had a replacement that was younger than me and started at level 1, that person would get about $720.
Well, that's obviously why community colleges are affordable. You know, you think about what those college profs at UCSB make. You have 5 to 10 different helpers and only work part-time in the year. It's insane.
Exactly.
Well, so how do people find your GoFundMe page?
You can just Google GoFundMe.com, Mark McIntyre, / Mark McIntyre. Really easy to find. And I'm just humbled by the fact that people are remembering me from so many years prior and sending letters to the Board of Trustees on my behalf, thanking me for introducing them to a life of ideas and nurturing a life of ideas and changing their life that way through my teaching. It's humbling and it's gratifying. But I need a couple of things to happen, and one of those things is I want Michael Sherman to get an apology from Dr. Napoleon and from the Board of Trustees at City College because he deserves that. The second thing is I've been made unemployable. You know, once you're charged with Title IX allegations, even if you're acquitted, you're unemployable in academic life forever. I've been destroyed. I've been destroyed just by the accusation alone. That's what's happened here. Accusations can kill careers.
That's amazing. Now, what about, are any of these hearings coming up public?
No, the grievance process is private. They say confidential, but because it's tax dollars, that's an arguable point in itself in the law. But anyway, no, the grievance process is not public. But when this gets to the Board of Trustees, which I expect it will get to the Board of Trustees, that will be public. And the board meets usually on a Thursday twice a month. And all you got to do is Google or go to the sbcc.edu website and type in Board of Trustees scheduled meetings, and you'll get the whole schedule right there. And the public, by the way, speaks first. The public gets a chance to speak. Anybody can sign up a slip of paper and speak for 5 minutes on any topic that they desire, and the board has to sit there and listen to it.
Is there anybody reasonable on that trustee board that you know of?
I'm not going to make a call and saying that people are unreasonable. I am going to make the call that they have a system to protect, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, you know what? They need to protect the taxpayers' wallets, too. If they've given you a reason to sue and win, they also have a fiduciary responsibility to taxpayers.
Well, that's the biggest point. That's why I wanted to do your show, because I know that if there's any guardian of our taxpayers' dollars, it is Andy Caldwell and the Andy Caldwell Show. You are consistently the most vocal voice in defending taxpayers' dollars. And so this is why I'm really happy to be on your show today and share your audience to reinforce the work that you're doing.
Well, I'll be writing about this in the news press as well very shortly. Mark, we wish you the best. We thank you for serving. I am just saddened and grieved that the left that preaches tolerance is so intolerant. And the biggest thing they're intolerant about is ideas they can't compete with or against.
You're exactly right. But remember this, I have only begun to fight. And this is, as Churchill once said, this is not the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning.
Well, I do hope, again, that people will serve, that they'll run for these seats on this trustee board and clean house from Santa Barbara City College.
Exactly right.
All right, Mark, thank you again. Now, if people want to contact you, how can they do it?
Mark at markmcintyre.com. MCINTIRE, Mark at markmcintyre.com. And I welcome and return all emails. My students love the rapidity with which I return emails.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Andy. Bye.
All right. Mark McIntyre, you're going to be back with Katie Grimes. You're listening to the Andy Caldwell Show. Stay tuned. Well, we'll be back in a little bit. Looks like my clock was off. Hey, check us out on Facebook, the AndyCaldwellShow.com webpage. And do read our op-eds. I'm a guest editorial, Santa Barbara News Press, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. We'll be back with Katie after these messages.